funny thing about the way people make a plan, it takes me back to when we were athletes, being athletes that we played against each other in high school and played with each other in college. It's funny when we got in the huddle and, we studied plays and then we thought about what the offense or defense is doing and then we changed what we were doing based upon what we see. The one thing I can't understand is that when people have finances, they don't have more than one plan that they're doing. I remember when we were playing against each other in high school, when we were, playing as teammates. You study these plays, you draw up plays, you think about all the conditions, you think about the weather, you think about whatever can happen during the game, and then you have your plays, but then you have
your counters.
But then now when you think of people's finances, it's like, okay, I got a financial advisor, and these are typically Wall Street salesmen, and then that's who you feel comfortable with, but that's one plan.
Right.
Why aren't we having real estate? Why aren't we looking to see what we need to do to get our credit score to 700? Why aren't we looking at the interest rates that we're paying for everything across the board? Is that not, if I'm paying 5.5% interest rate because I might have had bad credit at one point, interest rates are 3%, if I get my credit scores higher, would I not get a pay raise because I'm paying out less money?
Yeah, well, it all goes to that whole old adage we always talk about. It's not how much money you make, right? It's how much money you keep.
Yep.
And it happens on both sides. You have the one side, the front side, which is how I get the money, right? Get the income, get my retirement. The other side is how can I minimize the interest on that?
And that is something that we want to help you with. We have a big crisis that's going on in this country. And it doesn't matter how much money you make. There's a very small percentage of people is not going to face what we're talking about right now. And we're calling that the retirement crisis. So we have to have more plays than you've ever had at any point in your life. Because we have to have a play if you live to your 100. I always say if you mess around and live to your 100, because everybody's like, I'm not going to live that long. Well, what happens if you do?
Right.
You see what I mean? What happens if you get cancer and don't die? What happens if you get a stroke or heart attack? Can you guarantee me none of these things are going to happen?
We have too many real stories about that. I mean, how many times have you heard a friend or a family member that, they were healthy one day? I remember you were telling me about that one guy that was like healthy as a horse, he said, and then it was like in a week or so, he just dwindled down and passed away. Yeah. So we don't know. And like you said, we're definitely former athletes, and we look at this as we gotta have audibles. We have to have audibles in our financial and retirement planning.
Life could have a blitz on you at any minute.
Yeah, and too many people, right? They just say, hey, I have a 401k, and which we know wasn't designed for somebody's primary retirement.
It wasn't. I interviewed a guy named Ted Bennett.
Yeah.
Interviewed him last year. He said the 401k is not being used in the way on how he designed it. And it's going to lead several million people to a point to where it's not going to be what people are thinking about. Because what a financial advisor will do is to say, hey, you should have $3 million at retirement. But I don't know how long that $3 million is going to last me because I don't know my life expectancy.
Well, what is that you always say? You said, one thing to ask your financial advisor, it's not how much money you've accumulated, it's how long will that money last?
How long will the money last? But then with the rule of 4%, which is a Wall Street rule, you're really supposed to be living off of 4% of what your income is or what you have in that 401k.
Right.
So then now you're either going to get hit with two different problems. You're either going to live too long to where the inflation is going to devalue your money, so the 4% that you're living off of, you're going to have to increase it, or you're going to have to take more percentage out, and if you live too long, you're going to run out. Then you get these self-proclaimed gurus, and his name rhymes with Nave Smanzy, will tell you, hey, just pay everything off. Don't have any debt. Don't have any debt at all, But then what about your utilities? What about property taxes? What about food? What about clothing? What about gasoline, cell phone bills? What if you want to have organic fruits and vegetables if you get a catastrophic illness? What about transportation? What about any of the other things?
Those are all ongoing
ongoing
costs, Yeah.
And that could be that I have a house paid off, no credit cards, no car. What about these other things? How will you just invest? Invest in what?
Well,
Invest in what?
I mean, and to your point, Mario, we talk about, I live in New Jersey, and if my house is fully paid off, my property taxes
It's like a mortgage payment.
and it's increasing, and it never gets paid off. So people like in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, California,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it's going to encompass the entire country at some point. But even if you have a fully paid off house and you're debt free, there's always escalating expenses.
Well, because if you lower federal taxes, then people have to accumulate money somehow, some way. So then you're going to get hit with something else. You're just going to be called something else. So as athletes, we've been designed to look at every single possibility that can happen, and it's only a meaningless game.
Right.
You see what I mean? But now when you get with people's life, they got one play. I'm going right up the gut, and no matter what the defense is showing me, I'm going right there. Then you talk to the people, well, I got somebody handling that. I'm like, so you're gonna turn your financial life over to somebody just because they studied Wall Street, then you feel all the way good with them. The thing that I like about what we do, without patting myself too much on the back, is first thing we need to do, we need to look at your credit. We need to maximize your credit. We need to have another game plan. If you're a W-2 wage earner, you have to have something else that you're working on, something else that can produce you income.
Right.
It could be investment properties. It could be a franchise. It could be something. You got to have something that's going to generate, it could be a home business,
yes.
but it got to be something to where it has a chance to be able to make you money.
Right.
That's the main thing. So when we look at something, we want to look at it holistically. Yes, there's insurance products. There is a place for Wall Street. There is a place for so many things, but we're so in tune with just one solution to something. I think that's where you're going to see people have to work their entire life, because if you are just dependent on the market can crash. So then now you lose principal, you're gonna have to work longer. So what we wanna do is we wanna sit down with you. We wanna sit down with you, and we wanna show you every possible scenario. So your insurance plan isn't to go on GoFundMe if something happens to you. And for you to have an insurance plan, for you to stop working and go off and bask in the sunset and fish or whatever you plan on doing at 65, by 66, you're not coming back having a good job because 65 didn't work out.
Be a greeter at Walmart.
And that's if you can be a greeter at Walmart. That's going to have a lot of competition because you have so many people. And really what I'll end this with, I saw a real life example of how real stuff is going to get when I came back from LA. Down the street, nothing but people laying out in tents. Young people, 40s, 50s, 60s, they ran out of money. And they're not all mentally ill. They ran out of money. And they don't have enough to be able to go anywhere. So then what do? You either don't eat or you don't have a place to live. So we don't want to see any of these type of things happen to you. So we really hope that we can actually get together with all of you and then sit down and come up with a playbook. All right, so thank you. I'm Mario Henry.
I'm Todd Lane.
And we signing off. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.